Are you interested in learning more about leadership and taking your leadership ability to the next level? Well, then you've come to the right place. Hello and welcome to today's video, where I take a look at a leadership principle, a core leadership principle, and try and simplify it. So break it down, make it more easily digestible and easy to understand. So simplifying it. Right, so today's video, I'm going to focus on why adaptability is so important in leadership. Now, I think, and I've experienced this a lot in the past, adaptability in leadership is something that's commonly overlooked. We often focus on the skills around leadership and we say leaders need to be able to do this and that, but we forget about actually leaders are faced with constant change. So this is why it's so important. Every single day, leaders face challenges, whether it's the multitude of decision making they need to face, the various emotional situations they put under, such as stress, duress, excitement, dealing with other people's emotions. There's so many different challenges that leaders face every single day. And without adaptability, leaders may find themselves coming to a position where they are either stuck or just simply don't know what to do. And that can lead to poor decision making, more challenges, mental health stresses, such as like putting stress on yourself and your body, and then maybe leading to failure in projects or tasks that they are leading. Now that's really why leadership needs to focus on a core value of adaptability. I just want to, before I go into what you can do next, I just want you to take a think and look back at an example that you may have faced in the past where you are leading a task or a project or whatever it may be. It could be a day out with the family and you was like, okay, I'm going to make this happen. Probably every conceivable thing you could think of went wrong. So let's take a look at a project task. That's generally where leadership is focused on. So if you're leading a project task and okay, you start the project, you think, okay, what do I need to do? I need to do one, I need to do X, Y, Z, I need to do all these things. I need to get them all into place. And then suddenly you go, okay, brilliant, I've got a plan. And then something goes wrong. Often, like you look at point A and point B on a task. So this is going to be your start point and your outcome, right? It's never a straight line. You start here, something goes wrong, then something goes well, then something goes wrong, then you adapt. See, this is always about adaptability. If something goes wrong, you have to adapt to the situation to turn it back into a positive. If we don't, things can spiral out of control. It's always an up and down curve. But whenever we're on the down, think about a project that you're looking on. Say you start the project and some of the labor force don't turn up, or you have a designer who's going to come in and design something for you for a project and they don't turn up. That's something that's immediately gone wrong. Now you can either just go, well, I don't know what to do, or you can adapt to the situation. Okay, how can we overcome this situation? Start brainstorming ideas, start looking at different issues and solutions. That's called adaptability. Okay, so how do you adapt to each situation? How do you course correct? It's not just a random series of events that allows you to overcome challenging and difficult situations. No, there are 4 key steps which I would like to share with you because I think this is really simplifying adaptability. So the first step is listening. The second step is changing. The third step is reacting. And the fourth step is acting. Right, so let's move through the steps. So listening is being aware of the situation. Now let's go back to that situation in the project where, okay, you've got a designer who's coming in to design something, take some photos, whatever it is, right? They don't turn up. Now, you can be closed off to the situation or be open and listen to the situation. So here's an example, if you're closed off, one of your staff members comes to you and says, oh, the designer's running late, or the designer hasn't checked in yet. They haven't called us to say they're on the way. Now, if you're closed off, you could just, yeah, okay, whatever. We'll see them when they get here. Or if you're listening to the situation, you could be open to realizing that actually something may not be right here. If the designer hasn't called in yet, why don't we call them? Right? So now this is about being open to change. Right? Say, okay, now we're moving to the next step. So you've listened, you're aware of the situation. You're aware that something may be going wrong here. Now you're open to change. Okay, I need to do something. Not being open to change is where you literally just say, nah, I'm not interested. Just you deal with that. It's fine. It'll work itself out. But being open to change says, okay, we might need to do something here. I'm ready to do something if needs to be done. That brings us onto the stage of reacting, the third stage. This is the saying, okay, I'm ready to react. I need to act here and do something. This is something that's really challenging in the leadership role anyway, because this is not just happening once a day. This could be happening 10, 20, 30 times a day. So it's quite taxing emotionally. But this is, I'm going to come on to that part of how you can ease that burden, right? But I will come on to that part. Now you're open to react. You're ready there. Say, okay, I'm ready. I know what I need to do. Now it's acting, right? Taking that step and saying, okay, I'm going to phone the person, or delegating the task and say, can you phone them and find out what's happening, right? If they haven't checked in, you may need to go to plan B, right? And having plan B and like project leadership, that's also part of being adaptable. Because if you plan a task and say, yep, it's going to be a straight line, that's it, nothing's going to go wrong, then when something does go wrong, you're not ready to adapt. But if you plan for the ups and downs and say, okay, if we got the designer coming in, what could happen? Okay, the designer doesn't turn up. Right, how can we adapt to that situation? Do we have a backup designer, for example? This is adaptability at its core. You've listened, you're aware of the situation, you're open to changing, you're ready to react if necessary, and that if necessary, you act. Right, now that's 4 simplified steps of how you can become more adaptable in leadership. Now I want to share with you how to ease that burden, that emotional taxation on your mental and physical health. Right, but before I do that, if you're enjoying this video or you like the information, you've taken anything away from this, please hit the like button, leave me a comment, or subscribe to my channel. It really helps me out to continue to bring this level of information to you. Okay, now straight back into the video. Easing the burden on the emotional taxation that comes with the constant challenges that leaders face in a leadership role. This is quite simple, but also quite difficult to do. Drawing on the support of others. Now, why this is quite difficult is because often when people move up into leadership roles, or they are taking on a project task, a project leadership task, they're trying to make it their own, trying to own it and make it happen, right? It's quite difficult sometimes to say, I need you to do this. Can you do this for me? Can you do this for me? Because often some people might take that quite in the wrong way. But to put a positive spin on it, if you draw on the support of your team and the people around you and their experience, then you can actually help them take more ownership and accountability. This allows you to ease the burden. So for example, if you're on that, not the straight line, but the ups and downs. If you have 10 downs in a day, by the 3rd or 4th, you're probably pretty drained going, oh man, this is difficult. Why is everything going wrong? But if you talk to your team beforehand, draw on their support and say, okay, if things go wrong, if there's something wrong with the designer, I need you to deal with it. If something goes wrong with the artwork or the pictures or the photos or the studio, whatever it is you're doing on that project, I want you to deal with it. Draw on that support, and that could really ease the burden. But also, not just easing the burden, it helps your team become more accountable, take ownership for the project. And that really then, what that does as a whole, it brings people together. It helps people work together. They have a goal and an outcome to work towards. Okay, thank you very much for listening, and I hope you took some information away from that, one little key point. And if you have, please give me a like, give me a comment, let me know, or subscribe to my channel. It really helps me. Thank you very much for watching. This is JT signing out.